thanks for joining us here on Go Local Live at the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm Molly O'Brien. I'm joined by Trixie Wadson from the Bowens Wharf Company. Thanks so much for joining us.
Great to see you today, Friday afternoon.
Yeah, Friday afternoon, a beautiful day. And this weekend, fun stuff coming up, the 27th Annual Bowens Wharf Seafood Festival. So we're talking about it, all the good stuff happening this weekend. Are you pretty excited about it?
I am, because we're ready and the weather looks good.
We're ready. Like it or not, we're ready.
As opposed to not ready, which is what we worry about for the months leading up to it, that we won't somehow be ready.
So this is actually a pretty big festival. What are kind of your expectations, and what do you think people can expect when they're coming down?
They can expect, and with some confidence, 25, 27 vendors, an assortment of seafood dishes, grilled, fried, lots of different ways to enjoy it. You'll definitely see a lot of pedestrian traffic. It's Newport, so I always like to advise that you park either at Discover Newport or one of the city lots. If you really come early, then you'll be able to enjoy some parking at the metered lots, but a lot of people walk in from town, and some people come by boat and bicycle. But there's a huge assortment of shellfish, seafood, and sweets. And then, some usual festival vendors as well. We have a couple of knife vendors for those of you who are really interested in filleting your fish, and then there'll be filleting demonstrations with Eating with the Ecosystem.
Cool. And so that's what we wanted to bring you in today to talk about, all the fun stuff, all the cool stuff going on, because it's 2 days happening, the 14th and the 15th. But also wanted to kind of get inside just on how many people are coming into town for this, how many people hang out, and just... is this really a big deal for Newport businesses, for these companies, for these restaurants? Because it is a lot of foot traffic, right? How many people do you expect?
Yeah, those are great questions, Molly. We get anywhere between 8,000 to 12,000 people over the course of the weekend. And you probably know, which is why you're asking, that Newport has seen fewer downtown festivals in the past couple of years. The Bowens Wharf Company has stepped in to try and do some more in the shoulder season. The Seafood Festival has been around for 27 years, so it attracts an Oktoberfest crowd. There's a lot of craft beer at a lot of the restaurants like Wharf Pub and Diego's, plus Whalers Brewing sets up a huge sampling station and all that. But it is a last hurrah for... It still feels like summer. We're going into the later fall pretty soon, so it's an opportunity for everyone just to be out on the waterfront and really have a fantastic time outdoors. And there are some festival tents, so even if it was slightly raining, people would be fine. But it has a large impact on Newport, and it's a challenge certainly for the restaurants because of staffing, that they start to dwindle at this time of year. So it really is the last hurrah. We've also added the Oyster Festival in May and the Wooden Boat Show in September as opportunities for people to come down to Newport and just stroll around the waterfront. It's always free access, but now there's a little bit more to do in addition to the regular shopping and dining that we offer.
Exactly. And do you think that these festivals, just bringing in people to the city, are critical for shops, for businesses, just to get extra people, whether it's walking by or walking in? Do you think it helps out with business? Yep,
and you had asked earlier, where do people come from? A lot locally. We get a lot of people from Connecticut, from New York, New Bedford, Massachusetts area, and frankly we have people who come from all over the world who know about it. Obviously the military community comes down. We hope that these festivals do get Newport on the map, Rhode Island on the map, because so many of the vendors come from beyond Newport. They come from South County, and like I said, some come from Massachusetts, that people can come and sample this little portion of New England all in one place. And we hope that they'll spend a few days and fly through Providence, spend some time here, and then maybe tour around the coastline and so forth. As far as retail and shopping goes, it is primarily a food and drink festival. There's no question. There's 2 days of live music, and people just love to enjoy the different bands. And but it's all the shops are definitely open, and we think that people see them and think, I'll come back when I am ready to do my Christmas shopping, birthdays, Mother's Day, things like that. That's our hope for sure.
I mean, I think just getting, whether it's 8,000 or 12,000 people, once you have that many people in an area, people spend money, so it's helpful. And that's what we're always interested in, is tourist season, we had the summer, and now it's kind of winding down. So kind of curious to see, as the tourist season kind of dwindles, is this kind of that last push?
It absolutely is. You can, right after Labor Day, or depending on when schools start back up again, you see a tremendous drop, which is almost a breath of fresh air for coming to Newport, because like, I can find parking places,
breathe,
it's easy. And then it for these weekend events, there was a fair on Broadway last weekend. There was the Columbus Day. The weekend traffic jumps up again because it's so close and it is easy to get to, and it's such a different environment that you feel like you've gone a greater distance than you have. The economic impact is certainly felt if people book for weekends, and because it is a 2-day weekend, the neighboring hotels and B&Bs definitely see people spending Saturday night. And we hope that enough people fall in love with the area that they'll come back at a different time of year. But it is a love, again, when the weather plays right. Just a lot of people love to come out and play one last time before the coats have to come out and the hats.
And what's fun is, and we'll get to this, is that you still continue to put on festivals and events, even if you do need your coat. A couple more events coming up, which one of my favorite activities is the boat parade and the Christmas tree lighting. Yeah. So those are still coming up even as the weather declines. Still activities, still fun stuff coming on. So we'll chat about that before you go too. So a couple neat things happening. We talked about the food. We talked about the music, but if you are interested in having a cocktail or a libation, going to a good cause. And so our friend is around the corner, Bethany, so she's giving moral support, and you have a picture. But talk to me just a little bit about, so I think we can see that in the back, but is this one of the tall ships?
This is the tall ship.
This is the tall ship. Okay, cool.
This is Rhode Island's official sailing education vessel. It's the Oliver Hazard Perry. And
cool.
It's brand new. Within the past 2 years, it's been sailing as far as Cuba and Bermuda. And so we're very fortunate to have her come to Bowens Wharf Marina for the 2 days, so people can board the ship, adults and children, and it's accessible, $5 and $1 respectively. And so the bar proceeds from the festival bars benefit education at sea. And there have been lots of school groups from all over the state and all over the country who've been able to have multi-day or week-long programs or longer on the ship. And so she'll be sailing down actually to Florida and Texas shortly. And so this is also another last opportunity to get on board the ship. And so we set up 3 festival bars, and we work with Moet and Chandon. So there'll be Moet minis for sale. So it's still a really nice time for a bubbly drink. And
it's always a nice time for a bubbly
drink. You're right.
It always is.
Do you like shellfish or oysters?
Yeah, I'm an oyster fan, yes.
So, as you know, champagne and oysters are an unbeatable combination.
Can't beat that, nope.
And then Whalers Brewing, as I mentioned. And then we've been working with Belvedere Vodka on really perfecting some of the Bloody Marys. That's very popular on Sunday mornings. Zesty or regular. And the other thing is we've been working with Ardbeg Whiskey for a little peatier, smokier flavor to those Bloody Marys. And then some perennial waterfront favorites, Captain Morgan's rum and Don Julio tequila. So those are some of the alcohol sponsors. We have 3 festival bars, plus there's all the restaurants that are in Newport are open for people to enjoy dining and drinking inside. So Saltwater Restaurant, which is to our north, Newport Harbor Hotel and Marina, they're participating in the festival. Gurney's is participating. So some of the hotels have come to show off their chefs. I think the chefs have a little bit of friendly camaraderie amongst themselves. Yeah. See who's got the favorite chowder, lobster roll, that kind of thing.
All that kind of thing.
Some kind of, or a fresh take on a clam cake, crab cake from 22 Bowens. Those are things to keep an eye out for. And leave room. There are appetizer portions that you can buy from each individual.
Always leave room because there's so much. Which is one of the best parts about living in Rhode Island and living in New England is we have the best seafood hands down, right? But what I love about this is, so if you do want to get a drink, I would suggest going to one of the event bars because it goes to the Oliver Hazard Perry, Rhode Island. It goes to their programs. It's nonprofit, and so help put on these programs for people. It's an organization that provides innovative and empowering education at seas programs. So that's straight from their webpage. So nonprofit organization, I think that's awesome. And it's a tall ship. And so you said you can go on and check out the tall ship for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. You can.
That's really neat.
It's sort of a self-guided ship visit. Down below, check out the rigging, the mast. Obviously, you're not going to get to go sailing, but you can make plans to do so in the future.
Yeah,
so it's a great introduction. We would love more people in the ocean state to be able to get out on the water. We do have a couple of water tours still running as well, so you can get out sailing on Schooner Quidnick or out on Fish and Tails Adventures if you want to go fishing or pull up a lobster trap.
Yeah.
And Gansett Cruises offers like a motor yacht experience, and 12-meter charters is a team building experience on these America's Cup boats. So they're still sailing, and we'll be, at least for another week or so.
Hey,
so you
do what you can.
Make a weekend of it, make a day of it. You can fit it all in. I'm a big fan of putting a lot into one day. We go 11 till 6 on Saturday and 11 till 5 on Sunday.
Okay, so get out, have a good time. Hopefully it'll be a nice weekend. Head on down to Newport. So wanted to talk all about that. Let's talk a little bit about what else you have coming up. So we talked all about all the awesome stuff, talked a little bit about the demonstrations that'll be happening. So Eating with the Ecosystem has visited Go Local Live before and talked about all the neat programs that they have. So you can see what the chefs do, and you can learn how to prepare all those delicious, amazing seafood dishes at home. So you're having those demonstrations. Also, when you think about these big festivals, you also maybe you don't think about it, but a lot of waste comes out, and you guys are really you're prepared for that, right?
We do. We have waste is an ongoing issue throughout the summer, especially being so close to the waterfront.
Yeah.
We have ventured into compostables the past few years, and then it's our understanding that some of the rules and regulations are changing. So a lot of the products we bought, they're not accepting anything unless it's certified organic. So
interesting.
Yeah, so we're in a transition phase there, and that we had supplied compostable trays and cups last year, and this year they have a different requirement. So that's a little bit a learning curve there. So what we do have, though, is compostables are still collected by the compost plant, so food scraps. So we have about 12 volunteers that come from the Nature Conservancy, and we have them at our separation stations. So the recycling, trash, composting, and shell collection. They'll take the shells to their reef rebuilding program, and they work with a couple of restaurants year-round, but they've been great about coming to our festivals and collecting a lot of shell all at once.
Wow.
And then those volunteers are critical to helping the attendees say, oh, I'll take that from you, and then properly separating everything. So we try and do it right at the source, separating. It's a big job.
Big task, especially if you get 12,000 people. I mean, it's a lot of ways to deal with. That's cool. I'm glad that there's a responsible way to go about this. So before you go, Trixie, you want to talk about, because we mentioned that this isn't, while it is a big last push to get to kind of get people out and about, get people spending their money. It's not really officially the last hurrah, because there's a lot more fun stuff happening on Bowens Wharf. The city of Newport lights up the harbor with Illuminated Boat Parade on the 24th of November. Honestly, it's one of my favorite events. I love the boat parade. It's so much fun. And then you also have the Christmas tree lighting on December 2nd. Just before you go, tell us a little bit about those two events.
I too love a good Illuminated event.
It's so fun.
Coming out for waterfowers has always been a treat for us. Well, last year Travel and Leisure did a survey of all the Illuminated events in the country, actually, and the Bowens Wharf Christmas tree lighting won the best one in Rhode Island.
Awesome.
So you should come and check it out. It's also a free event. And the Illuminated Boat Parade is in tandem with that really amazing Friday, where we like to go into shop local mode and get some early Christmas shopping done. We just think that it's a fantastic combination to come out of the waterfront, park, leave your car, shop and dine, get it all done. And that happens. There's a block party that all the tenants participate in on that day right after Thanksgiving. So it's a lovely time to be walking through Newport. Still the museums and the churches and the mansions are open for visits, so you can capture history and some retail fun as well.
I have to figure out a way to get on one of those boats, because I've seen it from, right?
Yes, you do.
Well, we need a Go Local boat for that. Well, we need to figure that out. Maybe we can go live.
We can charter. We can contact a yacht club.
We need to
maybe
figure that
we'll put our heads together.
Okay.
I too. I would. You got to be. It's
Right?
not for the faint of heart because it could be a lovely night. You just got to put a little jacket on, but it's definitely a
Big
party
jacket.
on a boat. What about the sea streak? Maybe we could organize that.
Let's see what we can do, right? We'll go live from the
Yeah.
I've seen it from the ground. I think I need to experience from the
You
water.
do. You do definitely.
What's so fun about that is that the sun sets so early, so you can go watch the parade and then get sunset dinner on the water. The sun sets at like 4:30.
Diego's has expanded so that they have a whole waterfront section where you can see right out over the basin into the harbor. Same thing with 22 Bowens. And then we put in live music into the North Pole. Another person who's been on your show, Aaron Cody, he plays the steel band.
He's
so
great.
we add sort of a Caribbean flavor to the Christmas boat parade, or the Illuminated boat parade. Caribbean Christmas, kind of. That's what we do. And then it's traditional Christmas music for the tree lighting, and we usually work with Bianca Sperduti. I don't know if you know her. She's a very well-known singer out of Providence. She's been written up in Rolling Stone, and she really gets everybody singing. So Santa arrives by boat. That's December 2nd, and with Mrs. Claus. And then they also hang out in the North Pole and they listen to Christmas wishes.
Love that. Love that. All right. Well, Trixie, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you can head out and enjoy some delicious, amazing New England seafood, Rhode Island, in that case, out on Bowens Wharf this weekend. It's the 14th and the 15th. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.